who has thrown more touchdown passes against the Bears than against any other team he's faced. From the 36-yard line and passing on first down, and it's intended for Antonio Freeman and incomplete. Defensively for the Chicago Bears. And a defensive line, Keith Traylor and Ted Washington, the newcomers, have been magnificent at defensive tackle. Warwick Holdman and Roosevelt Colvin playing big time with Brian Urlacher in the middle. The secondary, R.W. McQuarters and Walt Harris are the cornerbacks. Tony Parrish and Mike Brown, the safeties. Amon Green and Dorsey Levens are both in the backfield at the same time out of the shotgun, and here comes the blitz. And Favre escapes it, and his pass is complete to Freeman. Wide open down the middle of the field, and Antonio Freeman gets down to the Bear 31-yard line and a 33-yard gain.
Well, just a nice job with the protection right there. You're going to see Amon Green right here, and he's going to be blocking Mike Brown coming off the edge with the blitz. Brett Favre has the time, sits in the pocket, and delivers the throw, and he's got Antonio Freeman working over the middle of the ball that was vacated by the blitz, and just a nice job of execution by Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman, and a nice job of blocking by Amon Green.
From the 31-yard line, and the Packers threaten. They give this to Amon Green, and Green gets to the 30-yard line. Green gained 93 yards in the first meeting against these teams, averaging over 5 yards a carry.
In that first game, they also didn't put a lot of pressure on Brett Favre, and they were questioned for that approach. And you could see just by that last play, just because you're bringing pressure doesn't mean you're going to be successful. This guy has seen everything throughout his career, and if they're going to do that and the Packers are able to pick it up like that, he's going to continue to make big plays down the field in the passing game.
Corey Bradford is the third wide receiver on 2nd and 9. And out of the shotgun, here is Amon Green off the left tackle, and a big block that time. And Roosevelt Colvin makes the tackle, but not before a 7-yard pickup.
William Henderson just does a tremendous job blocking, and they brought in some guys. You're going to see it on Mike Green. Here's William Henderson. He'll come across. Watch him finish right here on Mike Green. That is what you do as a fullback. You keep your feet moving on contact and take him right to the ground.
Yeah, not only does he block Mike Green, but he also pushes him back into Roosevelt Colvin, so Roosevelt's not able to get in on the tackle as early as what he'd like to have.
3rd down and 2. So Levens is in there. And again out of the shotgun. Bill Schrader going in motion, and Brett Favre going up the middle, and it is caught by Schrader and appears to be enough for the first down. It is. Jerry Azuma, the nickelback, making the tackle, but the Packers have a first down on the Bear 20.
We already see a little bit of a chess game going on between the two coordinators right there, and one up for the Packers. They knew that the Bears would come in and go to that 46 defense. They had it on right there. That's one of the ways that they wanted to get pressure on Brett Favre, and again, he delivers the pass for a first down.
The Green Bay Packers are 8-3 for the first time since their last Super Bowl trip, and Greg Blash, the defensive coordinator, trying to find answers here. First down on the 20, and wide open is William Henderson, and the fullback getting down to the 5, and another first down. Urlacher on the coverage, and these Packer receivers have been wide open on this first drive.
Well, they've done a nice job. They've really done a nice job in the last few games. You're going to see William Henderson going in motion there. He's running an angle route. Urlacher overruns him, and it allows Henderson to get up inside. Just nobody in there after Urlacher overran him, thinking he was going to go to the flat.
So it'll be 1st and goal at the 4, and David Martin joins Bubba Franks, 2 tight ends. The Bears have not allowed any points this year on the opening drive, and that is in jeopardy. 1st and goal at the 4. Here is Green, and Green gets maybe a yard at the most.
Well, down here, this is one of the areas where they've been very successful getting the ball into Bubba Franks' hand. Another guy, the tight end. You talked about the 2 tight end package on that previous play, and David Martin is also a guy they're starting to utilize more down here in the red zone.
2nd and goal at the 3. Bubba Franks with 7 touchdown catches this year.
52.
And they're lining up. Frank Winters has reported, and he's lining up as a tight end. Henderson is split in motion to the right, and here's the pass, and it's intended for Green, and a great play made that time by Warwick Holman, knocking the ball away, bringing up 3rd and goal. And they spread the defense with 3 wideouts. Freeman in motion, and here is Favre, and the pass is caught, and touchdown. Freeman gets over for the score. Did not begin the year. Shane Matthews did. And he came in, a bruised hip, knocked him out for a game, and here he is, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. And Anthony Thomas back into the lineup after missing 2 games with an injury, gets 5 on the first play of the game. The offensive line, and they have been stalwart for Chicago with Brockermeyer, Tucker, Kreutz, Valerio, and James Big Cat Williams at right tackle. Thomas is back, but we'll see James Allen as well. Booker, their top receiver, with Des White. Damon Shelton, the fullback, and tight end is Fred Baxter. David Terrell is in the game as the 2nd wide receiver on 2nd and 5 at the 43. The tight end Baxter in motion. A pump fake by Miller going up the middle, and the pass is incomplete, and no flag is down. Pretty emphatic. In any event, 3rd and 5 at the 43. James Allen in the game at running back, and Miller going underneath, incomplete. He was going for Allen. And so the Bears are 3 and out on their first possession. Corey Bradford and Donald Driver are the wide receiver split. Pump fake, and the pass is batted down at the line by Keith Traylor. So continuing to climb along the quarterback leaders is Brett Favre, and on 2nd and 10, Amon Green charges forward and picks up about 4 on the play. And right now,
divisions in the NFL this year.
no question. Meanwhile, 3rd and 6, and Favre out of the shotgun, hands off to Dorsey Levens, nothing there, and the Bears defense clamps down, led by McQuarters and Daniel. The Bears trailing 7-0 from the 28-yard line, and the handoff is to Anthony Thomas, and Thomas gets a good 3.5 yards on the play.
Well, this is one of those things you don't expect to see. This is Rob Davis right here. He's your long snapper, number 60. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the long snapper on the punt team, and unfortunately, just right through the legs out the back door.
His once-in-a-lifetime opportunity just got blown.
Yeah, you're not going to see that happen probably for the rest of his career.
2nd and 6 at the 32 for the Bears. Continue to play a conservative brand of football, but it's worked for him, and this time Anthony Thomas is stopped at the 35-yard line, still about 3 yards shy of the first down. Defensively for the Packers, Cledius Hunt starting in the place of John Theory at defensive end. Jim Flanagan is in there for the injured Gilbert Brown. Nate Wayne, Bernardo Harris, and Niall Diggs are the linebackers. Tyrone Williams and Mike McKenzie are the corners. Darren Sharper and the rookie Baju, who's had to come in for one of the greats. There's Gilbert Brown out with a toe injury. Leroy Butler, of course, the other star defensive player, out of there. 3rd down and 3, and the pass thrown wide open. Des White, 1st down, and White goes down close to the 45-yard line after 9.
Packers right there, all dropping deep, and you talked about it earlier, Troy. The Bears like to throw the ball into the short and intermediate areas and let the receiver run for the 1st down, and they just totally vacated everything underneath there short.
Yeah, they left it wide open there for Des White at that linebacker level, and if there's one route that the Chicago Bears are going to throw today, it's that crossing route. Usually Marty Booker is the guy that's running it, but they also, as you saw right there, they'll utilize Des White also.
James Allen is the setback. 1st down on the 44. On play action, the pass going outside of Fred Baxter, and Baxter picking up about 4 yards with Bernardo Harris, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Yeah, and Fred Baxter is a guy who they need to get more involved in this offense. He's had 1 catch in the last 2 ball games. That makes his 2nd reception. And if they're going to have success against the Green Bay Packers, they have got to be able to get down the middle of the field, and they've got to be able to do it with Fred Baxter.
And brought in from the Jets mainly as a blocker, but he does have very good hands. I'm surprised that they haven't found a way to fit him into their passing game a little bit more frequently this season.
Anthony Thomas now the back on 2nd and 6. Tight formation, and the pitch goes to Thomas, blocking on the right side. And Anthony Thomas getting his way to midfield, still 4 yards short of the first down. And once again, Bernardo Harris right in the middle of it.
You know, one thing that you're going to see from the Chicago Bears is that they like to bunch their receivers up right there, and a lot of teams will do that in order to disguise passing situation. The Bears use that formation primarily to set up the run. They want those wide receivers in there tight. They want them to get in there and try to root those linebackers and safeties out of the way in the running game.
And they think that their offensive linemen out on the perimeter hitting the cornerbacks and the safeties will wear them down in the passing game later on.
Leon Johnson goes wide right on 3rd down and 5 at the 49-yard line. Booker follows him that way. Miller being pushed back momentarily, going underneath, and Anthony Thomas on the reception. And he may be short of the first down. It all will depend on the spot. So here it is, 4th down and less than 1. Quarterback sneak, and Miller is going to make it. It first looked as if Miller wasn't going anywhere, but he bounced off the line and dives forward to a first down. So the Bears 1st and 10 at the 44 after being successful on 4th down. Anthony Thomas getting the call, and Thomas backing his way inside the 40-yard line for a pickup of 5.
Again, the Bears offensive line, and you talked about it on the 4th and short, Troy. One of the strengths of the offensive group, really this whole football team, is this offensive line. And that's going to be a challenge for this Packer defense because they do a lot of different things. And there is one of the biggest reasons they've played together. The chemistry you develop over the course of the season. You get to know the strengths of the guy next to you. And that is why they can be a conservative offense.
2nd down and 4. And here is Thomas. And Thomas will be stopped 2 yards short of the sticks by Santana Dotson. This is a team, the Bears, who have scored 13 points in each of their last 2 games, and that's been enough for victories.
Well, they're 9-0 when they score 13 points, but as we all know, 13 points in the National Football League most of the times will not win you very many football games. They're playing against a pretty explosive offense in the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to have to score more than that today. They're going to have to be able to make some big plays, and that's been the element of their game offensively that they have not had.
Kabir Baja-Villamilla is into the game, the pass rusher extraordinaire. 3rd and 3 at the 37, empty backfield, and the pass is knocked away, intended for Baxter, and it was Bao Ju, who has big shoes to fill with Leroy Butler on the injured reserve. Favre throwing on 1st down, drills it, and the pass knocked away, incomplete, intended for Antonio Freeman. In the waning minutes of the 1st quarter. Driver in motion, and the fake end around, the handoff to Amon Green, and he picks up 3. So it'll be 3rd down coming up with Mike Green on the tackle.
You take a look at Amon Green and the year that he is having, and he has been such a surprise for this football team. And you know, you talk about what he's able to do running the football. He's outstanding when it comes to that. He's averaging 4.7 yards per carry. But the other biggest surprise is that he is leading this team in receptions, and it is a big part of this team's passing game.
And he's got Dorsey Levens again in the backfield with him at the same time. Levens, the former chief running back before he got hurt. So on 3rd down, here's Schrader open downfield using his speed and going out of bounds after a solid gain close to the 45-yard line of 24 yards.
Well, you talk about a team that likes to bring pressure, and what Green Bay is doing right now, they're picking it up and they're making the Bears pay for it. Right here, Brian Urlacher against Chad Clifton on the outside, and there you see the throw come in underneath. And right now we've seen 2 good pressures by the Chicago Bears defense, but has resulted in 2 big plays for the Green Bay Packer offense.
And Brett Favre seeking his 100th regular season victory as a quarterback. 1st and 10 at the 40. Hand off to Green, and Amon Green gets 4 on the play with Philip Daniels on the stop. Packers with 2nd down and 6 at the 44. Ahman Green. And Green is stopped short about 3 yards shy of the 1st down. Again, Philip Daniels on the tackle.
Philip Daniels is a guy that I don't think gets enough credit on this Bears defense. I think a lot of people will talk about Ted and Keith inside the big tackles and what they enable Brian Urlacher to do, but the complete guy on the defensive line to me is Philip Daniels. Great pressure on the quarterback, but also a good run defender on the outside.
Philip Daniels had a shoulder injury, actually a collision with his line mate Keith Traylor last week. But he has recovered enough to play, as has Brian Robinson, who had a knee problem. 3rd down and 3 with Levens and Green again in the backfield. Out of the shotgun is Brett Favre, and he's got plenty of time, and his pass through the fingers of Antonio Freeman, who was covered downfield by Walt Harris. Bears on the 20-yard line. Anthony Thomas has gained 20 yards and 6 carries. But the Bears trail. Now they send Thomas in motion wide to the left, and Miller has some time, and he slings it across to Des White, and White gets socked out of bounds after picking up the 1st down by Niall Diggs, and a 13-yard pickup, a Chicago 1st down.
Well, you take a look at what Jim Miller's done in the passing game, and as you can see, everything that he's thrown, the 7 passes have been under 10 yards. That last completion right there to Des White, even though they wound up getting 14, 15 yards, still completed at about the 4-yard range. And as we've talked about, that's a real staple in their offense, is throwing that 4- to 5-yard crossing route.
1st and 10 at the 33, and the handoff, and it looked like a mix-up in the backfield, and Billy Lyon gets Thomas for a loss of 3 on the play, as we check in with James Brown for another game break. JB.
Hey, Dick, Troy and Darrell know what it's like to play on a team with a lot of weapons. Take a look at the Rams' Kurt Warner. Who does he find this time? Ricky Prohl with that 15-yard strike. Talk about an embarrassment of riches. 14-0 St. Louis. Briscoe, no 1st downs in the first quarter, that is. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darrell.
Boy, Kurt Warner, he's just a completely different quarterback when he's playing in the confines of home there in St. Louis.
2nd down and 13 from the 30-yard line, spreading the defense with 3 wide receivers. Miller gets away from trouble, and he dumps it out to Thomas. And Thomas, who caught 5 passes in these teams' first meeting, gets minimal gain on the play, with Harris and Chris Gizzi making the stop.
One of the things that this Bears offense cannot afford to do is have negative plays on 1st down and force them into 2nd and longs. Right now they're staring at 3rd and 9, and that is not the position that this offense is going to try and get in. They throw the ball underneath, they will run it, and their primary objective is to get into the 3rd and short and 3rd and mediums.
James Allen, David Terrell have come in the game. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and here's Kabir Baji-Biamila right there.
Lining up on the right side. 3rd and 9. And Miller goes underneath to Baxter, the tight end. He won't get there. He is stopped at the 40-yard line, 3 yards shy by Keith Tibbs. Mark Tosher at right guard from right tackle. Earl Dotson at right tackle, with Marco Rivera out now. He has that broken hand, and the 1st down play to Ahman Green, and Green picking up about 5 on the play as we check in with Pam Oliver. Pam.
All right, Dick, Packers defense continues to sustain injuries. Linebacker Nate Wayne, he is currently in the locker room getting some x-rays on his sore back. He was actually kicked in the back. That is what caused that injury, and his return is questionable.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. And Chris Gizzi replaced him at linebacker. Meanwhile, Brett Favre brings the Pack to the line, 2nd and 5 at the 21. And he'll keep it on the ground and hit. And a great play as Ahman Green is hit by Keith Traylor. And a loss on the play.
Well, we talk about the run stuffing abilities of, there's Keith Traylor right there, number 94. He's going to work up the field pretty much unblocked, and once he gets a head of steam going, the back has no chance there.
And the big thing going against Mark Tosher, who just moved in from right tackle into the right guard spot. This is going to be his first action playing guard in his NFL career.
So anytime you have changes on the offensive line, either at the beginning of the game or during the game, that could present some problems. 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Brett Favre on the screen pass to Ahman Green. Green's going to get the 1st down and still has blocking downfield. Ahman Green stays on his feet, and it goes out of bounds in Chicago territory after picking up 38 yards by Parrish.
The receivers.
Packers with a first down on the Bear 45-yard line, and on the end around, it's Donald Driver, and Driver is hit and knocked out by Mike Brown, who the early season hero, who's still who's limping getting up with those 2 overtime interceptions, prevented a bigger lead than 8.
Well, it was a nice job by Mike Brown making the tackle there in the open field, because Corey Bradford, the wide receiver for Green Bay Packers, he had his corner sealed, and if Mike Brown doesn't make that tackle, that play goes for another 15 or 20 yards.
Maybe for a touchdown.
Brett Favre has gone over 3,000 yards for an NFL record 10th consecutive year. Second down and 2. Schrader, and Schrader is tackled for the first down on the 29-yard line of the Bears by Harris and Holdman.
Well, right now, what Greg Blosh was concerned about, and you see right there Brett Favre's numbers for the 10th straight 3,000-yard season, and a lot of that has to do with some of the big plays he's had so far this first half, and that's what Greg Blosh wanted to avoid. The big pass to Antonio Freeman on their opening drive for the touchdown. This drive, it was the screen pass to Ahman Green. He was trying to avoid those this game, but so far has been unsuccessful.
Second down and first and 10. Dorsey Levens getting a chance, and the Levens off the right side, picking up 3 yards with Holdman making the tackle.
Yeah, and Dorsey Levens, you know, we had a chance to see him at practice on Friday, and he is running very well. He's healthy really for the first time this season. He's at 100%, doing a nice job. They want to utilize him more than what they've been able to. It's just hard to get him in the game and take Ahman Green out. So what they've done, and they've done it some here today, is that they'll use both of them. They'll put Ahman Green at running back. They'll use Dorsey Levens some at fullback. But he's too valuable of a player not to let him get some carries.
That was his 30th carry of the year. Second down and 8, and Favre fakes out the defender and completes the pass on the right side to Bubba Franks, the tight end. And it might have been Brian Robinson in the backfield who got faked out by the spin move of Brett Favre, and as a result, a 5-yard pickup for the Packers.
Well, and that's Brett Favre right there. You take a look at what he's able to do to avoid the rush. He's stepping up, getting ready to throw, and he gets pressure there by Brian Robinson, and the fact that he's able to make him miss and still come back and deliver a throw and get yards out of that. You know, you talk about Brett, and he talks about his old man back and how he's aged over the years. He doesn't move that well, but what he does do is he moves extremely well still within the pocket and makes people miss.
Third down and 3, and the handoff to Green, and the Bears are there. And Ryan Urlacher quickly in along with Philip Daniels. Bears still trail 7-0. They start from the 31-yard line with Anthony Thomas, and Thomas picking up about 7 yards on that play. Sharper and Harris bring him down. Well, the Chicago Bears punting on their first 3 possessions. John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, believes in what his team does. They go back to it, very basic, very fundamental, where execution is the whole deal. Second down and 3. Thomas gets hit short of the first down by 1.5 yards as we send it to James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick, finally a score in that Detroit-Tampa Bay contest. Take a look at Mike Allstott, 24-yard run. Boom! Punishing Todd Light right there as he rumbles on in for the score. 7-0 Tampa Bay. That in the second over Detroit. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darryl.
Well, the Bucs making their usual late run, hopefully, to get into the playoffs.
Another one of those 6-5 teams is going to be battling down the stretch for one of those last spots.
Leon Johnson is the back, 3rd and 1 with 2 tight ends, and the handoff is to Johnson. He's knocked back, but let's see where his forward progress is marked. Our game right here on Fox. Ahman Green, he has been the gold standard for the Packers in the running game, picking up a couple of yards on first down. Total yardage in the game, and it's the Packers who have nearly 100 yards more than the Bears.
Similar situation to last week against Detroit. Chicago outgained by Detroit, but able to hang in there from a score standpoint and pull that game out late. And this is the mentality. This is how they play their football games, and it's kind of unfolding. Green Bay missed an opportunity with a field goal on their last drive.
Well, the Packers' 5 possessions, 4 have started from inside their 20. 2nd and 7. There's Favre with the familiar pump fake, getting rushed and firing it and completing it to Corey Bradford. And Bradford getting up, gets away from the first tackle attempt and is finally stopped at the 31-yard line, getting 14. Parrish finally got him.
You watch the job that Corey Bradford does on this play. Just a smart play on his part. Brett Favre is in the back of the pocket. Brett Favre is running around now looking, and Corey Bradford just as subtle. He stays in his spot, starts working back towards the sideline, giving Brett Favre a place to throw the football. And when you see Brett running around and making plays, a big part of the reason he's making these plays is because these receivers are giving him places to throw the football.
First down on the 32 of the Packers. Hand off to Ahman Green off the left side, gets a good opening, and Green diving to the 45-yard line. Tony Parrish and another 14-yard. 2-minute warning, 1st and 10 at the 47 of the Green Bay. Favre, flag is down, and the pass is intercepted. And the pass intercepted by Walt Harris, and he carries it inside the 40-yard line, the first penalty of the game. And nullifying what could have been a big situation for the Bears. Meanwhile, 1st and 10 now. Back on the 47 on the design rollout, and Favre is going to be sacked for a big loss back to the 31-yard line. That is a 10-yard loss thanks to Brian Urlacher, the all-pro middle linebacker.
Well, this is really where he's at his best. Brian Urlacher right there. He's going to come in late, a little bit of a delayed blitz, and they're not looking to block him. And when he's able to rush the passer, especially when they don't get bodies on him, he's a difficult one to avoid. Brett Favre had no opportunity there.
Boy, Chad Clifton, he bought that wholesale pitch right there by Brian Urlacher, because he delayed blitz and he was looking right at him. As soon as he didn't come at the beginning, Chad Clifton turned his eyes away, and then Brian Urlacher came right behind him.
Yeah, and the speed of Urlacher was still allowed him to get there.
2nd and 21, running play Ahman Green. Green getting a lot of it back as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Mike Brown makes the tackle, and an 11-yard pickup.
And here's a look at it after that last sack, Urlacher and Brett Favre. And yeah, I don't know what Brett Favre has it about defensive players, but a lot of jawing goes on. You know, obviously you talk about Brett Favre and Warren Sapp last week in the Monday night game, and now him and Urlacher exchanging words.
Well, he's going to lose Sapp with the realignment, so he's got to find a new guy in the division to have a little battle with.
You gave everyone the cold shoulder. You know,
I didn't talk to anybody.
3rd and 10 for the 47, as long as you talk now. Pass is picked off by Urlacher. Brian Urlacher downfield, showing some speed, and he is out of bounds. Ahman Green knocks him out of bounds at the 12-yard line of the Packers. So Green getting a life when Harris was guilty of the penalty, gets burned again by Urlacher's pick.
Well, and what's great about it is Brett Favre has been known to elevate his play whenever he gets an exchange of words with players. Now I think Urlacher is that same kind of guy. He comes back, drops right in. Brett Favre never sees him. He's trying to go to Antonio Freeman with the throw, and Brian Urlacher covers a lot of ground in there in the middle linebacker position and has great speed on the return.
7-0 Packers. 32 seconds to go. Bears have all timeouts remaining. Here is Jim Miller going underneath, and it's dropped by Anthony Thomas. 2nd and 10 at the 17. Miller. And this one caught by Thomas. And Thomas down to the 15-yard line, so a gain of 2 yards with Mike McKenzie defending. 3rd down and 7 from the 14. Miller, and Miller has Baxter, the tight end, and he's tackled at the 5-yard line. It'll be enough for the first down, but 12 seconds left as we check in with Pan. The Bears down to 1 timeout remaining. And here is Miller with the fade, and it's overthrown David Terrell. So now 8 seconds showing on the. Dwayne Bates is into the game for the first time. James Allen, and there is Terrell, who has no catches. Second and goal at the 5. The clock, the key, and again they run the fade, and again it is overthrown. That is not a replay, folks. It was the same pass. Terrell covered by Williams this.
It's going to be David Terrell and Marty Booker.
From the 45-yard line, play action. Miller looking for a receiver, and finally goes out to the running back, Anthony Thomas. That was a case in which Thomas getting 9 receivers might have been covered.
Well, they want to work in some play action, and you look at Des White. He's going to be working over the middle of the ball, and that's the guy that Jim Miller was looking to get it to. You see 3 guys come running to him, the linebackers, and that's what forced him to get the ball outside.
Miller 8 of 14 for a measly 52 yards. That was White's. Well, White has 2 catches. Second and 1 at the 46-yard line. They go to Thomas. First down, Chicago, to the Green Bay 44. Cledius Hunt making the tackle for the Packers, starting in place of the injured John Theory. Gilbert Brown with turf toe tried to go today. He couldn't, and Jim Flanagan, the ex-Bear, starting at nose tackle. There is Gilbert Brown. 7-0, Green Bay leading Chicago. 162nd meeting. Bears with a first down on the Packer 43. Sharper coming in on the blitz, and the pass downfield. The legs got caught up, and it was Mike McKenzie and Marty Booker using one early here in the second half in what has been traditionally tight games between these teams. You're right. Meanwhile, first down on the 19 of the Packers. And here is Anthony Thomas off the left side. Thomas inside the 5, and he'll go in. Let's see. No signal yet. And they say out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Des White, he played a role in this game.
Well, when you have some runs downfield, it's going to be your wide receivers, and Des White does a nice job right here on Tyrone Williams, invites him inside and then seals him. But watch Big Cat, number 71. There's your big offensive tackle right there, getting out in front and sealing the inside. That's a tremendous job by a big man.
It's also a
touchdown, and watch the job that James Williams does right here. This is, this is Big Cat. This is the big man, and he's coming around. That's some great feet, some great agility. A seal on Bernardo Harris. Also Blake Brockemeyer out there on Cledius Hunt.
Yeah, and what set it all up was the pass interference called on Mike McKenzie right there. And then you got the touchdown coming back to Anthony Thomas. And Anthony Thomas coming off of that hamstring injury doesn't seem to be affecting him on that run.
Let's see what the Packers have for an answer early here in the third quarter. First down at the 23-yard line. Ahman Green cutting upfield. And Green getting about 4.5 yards. Ted Washington making the tackle. Ted Washington, who said he wants to beat Brett Favre. And why is that? College.
Well, they go way back. They go back to college and various games they played when Ted was with San Francisco and Buffalo, and he's only beat him 1 time, and it was back in college. And he told us that this game was meaningful for him because he wants to beat Brett Favre. He didn't say anything about leading the division or what the playoff implications were following this game.
Second down and 6 on play action. Favre going for Antonio Freeman, and he is covered by R.W. McQuarters.
Raise their level of play, and it's obvious watching them this season.
Packers need 6 yards on third down. They pick up the blitz, and Favre goes down, and it was Philip Daniels with the second sack by the Bears today. So Daniels, who was hurt coming in, getting his 7th sack of the season.
Philip Daniels right there, and there's a little stun inside. It's a 2-man game. Ahman Green gives him a little bump, but that's just a nice relentless job of continuing to move towards the quarterback by Philip Daniels.
They've started twice in Packer territory the last 3 starts. They're on the Green Bay 45. First down. 2 tight end formation for Chicago, and Jim Miller will throw out of it and complete it to Marty Booker, and Booker straight arming the defender Baoju to a first down. First catch of the game for Marty Booker.
Marty Booker is a big wide receiver, and Baoju has to know that as he's coming across the middle, do not stay up high and get into his muscle. Come up and cut his legs out right there. He gets a taste of that stiff arm all the way downfield for a first down.
Yeah, and since Marcus Robinson went down for the season, Marty Booker has really been their go-to guy, their deep guy, their possession guy. He does it all for this football team.
Amazing, they've only gone to him once. 1st and 10 at the 35 of the Packers. And there's the pitch to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas is tackled by Chris Gizzy, who came in for Nate Wayne, who will not return, had a bruised hip in the first half and is out. Well, next Saturday, it'll be the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Giants, both with playoff hopes, but slim as they may be. Jake Plummer and Kerry Collins, the respective quarterbacks for that game, starting 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. Giants are winning. They're defeating the Dallas Cowboys, and the Eagles also leading against San Diego. And here is Miller taking a shot downfield, and the pass is nearly intercepted, broken up by Tyrone Williams. How about now? 3rd and 7 for a big play in this third quarter. From the 32-yard line, and the screen pass, and unable to get it to James Allen. Miller had to get rid of it as he was pushed back. Jim Flanagan put the pressure on, even with Baja Villamilla in there and the rookie Jamal Reynolds as well. Guard for the Packers, 1st down after the great punt by Maynard. Amon Green, nothing. 7-7 here in the third. Clark gets a pressure, and his pass intended for Bradford, incomplete. 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Dorsey Levens is in the backfield as well. This is a big play for Green Bay, and Favre looking for help, and the pass is caught, but they won't get the first down. Dorsey Levens is knocked out of bounds by Mike Green. And this game will go a long way to deciding the NFC Central winner and maybe home field advantage in postseason. 1st and 10 at the 41 for the Bears in Green Bay territory. Jim Miller's pass, and it's caught by Fred Baxter, the tight end, and a flag is down back at the 45-yard line. So the 14-yard pickup is nullified, and now the Bears back in their own territory on their 49, facing 1st down and 20. 3 wide receivers, and the screen to Des White. And White cutting through some traffic, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Williams on the tackle, and that will bring up 2nd down at the 41 of the Pack.
Well, the biggest thing you're starting to sense right now here in the second half is you can just sense the confidence that this Bears offense is starting to play with, and having some success moving the football, the way they're executing, the way they're able to get the ball outside to these wide receivers in space, let them do something with it.
And they certainly have picked it up. 54 total yards, -1 for Green Bay. 2nd and 10 at the 41. And here comes the charge, and the sack is made, and nearly a fumble. Bernardo Harris timed it perfectly. Out of the shotgun, the pass thrown underneath, and it's caught, but it means nothing. It was Fred Baxter to the 45-yard line. Last time the Bears had a winning year. Now the Packers starting from the 9-yard line on play action. Favre fires it, and he completes it to Bubba Franks. A gutty pass by Favre with the defender in his Favre spotting him. They get it out to the 29-yard line. The Pack gets out of trouble there. And this pass out on the flat, and it's William Henderson who was hit immediately by R.W. McQuarters for a 3-yard pickup.
That last play to Bubba Franks is just a big play, because you heard Coach Sherman talk to Pam Oliver coming out at halftime, and one of his concerns was getting field position back, and this whole half they have struggled deep in their own end. That one big play will enable them to get out, and if they don't even get another first down, at least change field position a little bit with a good punt.
2nd down and 7. Amon Green. A loss of 1. Hope he declared that. 3rd down and 8 at the 31-yard line for the Packers. Again, out of the shotgun. Favre drills it, and the pass is caught. after a bobble by Corey Bradford. What a catch by Bradford.
It's been a long time since they've been out this way.
First down, Ahman Green with Henderson blocking, and breaks one. Mike Brown, the only guy to have a shot, and he knocks him out of bounds with the tackle inside the 25-yard line.
He's going to make the big gain.
86 yards, 17 carries for Ahman Green, who goes in motion to the right on first down from the 23. And there is Schrader. He's got it. And Schrader, no signal yet. And now they say out of bounds. Packers have had the edge in yardage. Score is tied. From the 24, Favre looking to throw, goes underneath, and he completes to William Henderson. Henderson is knocked down at the 15-yard line, about a yard and a half shy.
He's quietly had a very productive day for Green Bay today, doing some things in special teams with that opening kickoff, establishing good field position, done well in the blocking part during the course of the day, and now getting a chance in the passing game to contribute. So one of those guys that goes unsung during the course of the game. You don't see his name show up a whole lot in stats, but pretty important today.
And as you just mentioned, a very unselfish player. And you know, you look at the great fullbacks in the game of football. They're guys that are very unselfish people.
David Martin in, extra tight end, handoff to Ahman Green, and Green dives for the first down. Packers with a first down at the 13 of the Bears. Brian Robinson making the stop. And they give it to Green. Green going wide. Green running to the 5. He'll score. Touchdown. His place at outside linebacker. Bears at the 39-yard line. Now trailing again by a touchdown. And they give it to Anthony Thomas, and the Packers knock him back. He'll get credit for a yard gain on the forward progress, and it was all led by Vonnie Holliday.
Well, you'll get to see what this Lambeau home field advantage means right now. The emotion now swinging back into the Packers' favor, the fans back into this football game, and this is one of the key elements playing up here as a visiting team. This crowd really does make things difficult for your offense.
Packers have won 13 of the last 15 against these teams, and Green Bay so big at home, especially in the month of December. 2nd and 8. Here is Miller. Picked off. Darren Sharper on the interception. Sharper still on his feet. Gets into Bear territory and will settle for that. Fourth interception to take over the team lead from Nate Wayne. And now Brett Favre at midfield with the Packers leading by a touchdown. And the handoff to Ahman Green, and no gain on the play. Keith Traylor right in the middle. 2nd and 10 from midfield. Final minutes of the third quarter. Favre on the screen has Ahman Green, and green jerseys blocking in front. But Brian Urlacher comes out of nowhere, it seemed, to make the tackle, but not before the Packers get another first down inside the Bears 40.
And the Packers are probably one of the best screen teams I've seen this year in the NFL. They had the big play last Monday night late in the game to get down there with a chance to go ahead by 7. They've had the big screen pass earlier in the game today to jumpstart a drive, and they just get everybody cleared out. They catch people in man coverage. They get the receivers downfield, and the linemen get out. And everybody has talked about this offensive line being athletic. They show their athleticism out there in front.
Spreading the ball around is Brett Favre today. As Green goes out and Dorsey Levens comes in the game. Play action and the sprint out. Favre. Well, it looked like Monday night, only from farther out when he went over for the winning touchdown. This time Roosevelt Colvin. It is 2nd and 2 for the Packers on the Bears 31. Dorsey Levens is the tailback, and Levens gets the handoff. First down and more. Dorsey Levens showing some of his running skills of past year.
He's one of the last guys that they utilize the right way as a fullback in the NFL.
Ahman Green back in there, and he gets his number called, and Green wins his way inside the 10-yard line. So Ahman Green
try and do what he did to emulate him on the field on the next Sunday.
Pretty good guy to copy and to look up to. Second down and 6 at the 10-yard line, and here is Green. And Green is knocked back by a couple of Bears led by Warwick Holdman, and Urlacher gets up as well. So third down coming up for the Packers, who lead by a touchdown.
There you see Amon Green going over 100 yards, and that was one of the things that the Bears really wanted to control during the course of the game today. They knew that Brett Favre would have an opportunity to make plays during the game because of the quarterback that he is, but their main focus was do not let Amon Green get 100 yards. You just saw he went over 100 yards on that last run, so that was a key ingredient for this defense.
5th time he's done it this year. Brings up 3rd and 5 from the 9. Favre to Henderson, and Henderson fumbles, and it's now an incomplete pass. Green Bay has had the offensive edge, but now the Bears have to show something on that side of the ball here in the 4th. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Jim Miller, and his pass on the crossing pattern is complete to David Terrell. Right now, let's check in with James Brown for a Fox game break.
They did take a look. Aaron Brooks is having himself a sensational day. Play action here. Troy, look at him uncork this one. 50-yard pass play to Joe Horn. Scott Ackerson, our producer, wants me to say there was no Phil Luckett to get him away. Score is good. 21-10. New Orleans over Atlanta. Dick, Troy, and Darryl.
Well, the Saints looking to go 7-5 and solidify what they hope will be a wild card berth. 2nd and 7, and Miller will throw from the 41-yard line and air it out and overthrows Des White. Each with only 1 reception today. 3rd and 7, and Miller in trouble and got it away up the middle with only Packer defenders.
And be doing a game here is just tremendous.
I know you've been caught up with what it is all about for Packer fans in this great stadium, and the Packers leading, and Amon Green leading the way and getting close to it, a 1st down on the handoff.
Well, and that's the guy, Amon Green, and we talked about it earlier in the ball game that that's the guy that you have to stop, and Chicago has not been able to do that. He's got 2 receptions for over 50 yards. He's run for over 100 yards already, and this is the guy you've got to be able to slow down and stop, or it's going to make for a long afternoon. And the more carries he gets, it seems the stronger he gets.
114 yards rushing, a touchdown, and a tremendous all-around game against a good defensive unit. And again, they go to Green, bounces off. Looks like Green's getting stronger as the game goes on. He picks up 6 yards with Mike Brown on the tackle.
Yeah, right now the Chicago Bears defense just cannot win against this Green Bay offensive line, and it's been one that's had some different lineups with Marco Rivera hurting his hand as we see Amon Green going off the field with possibly an injury to his hand. But we've seen Earl Dotson come in and play tackle, and Mark Tosher go down inside and play guard. And no matter what the lineup has been, the one thing that has been a constant is they have open running lanes in the running game for Amon Green.
And Marco Rivera on the sidelines now, so Tosher and Dotson are up there now, and the handoff is to Dorsey Levens, and Levens with his 2nd effort picking up close to 4 yards. Holdman and McQuarters making the stop.
Well, Amon Green getting worked on there, and he knew something was wrong. He's got a finger, it looks like it's dislocated or something. But you know, you talk about what Amon Green has meant. You talk about Brett Favre and the year that he's having. Brett Favre had his best years when Dorsey Levens was going awfully strong. He went through a couple of years, the past couple of seasons, where he was not as productive. But it's amazing how now that he's got another solid running back in Amon Green, how his own level of play has picked up as well.
2nd and 7, and Levens in there now, and on the fake, the rollout by Favre, and he throws the little dink pass. It's incomplete to Levens.
That's why football is the ultimate team sport. It takes everybody.
Ball control, close to a big edge for the Packers, and on the pass, Corey Bradford, who made a tremendous catch. Now the Bears coming in saying that he trapped the ball.
Throwing the football, intermediate and deep shots, and completing those if they're going to have any kind of chance getting back in this game.
And the handoff to Anthony Thomas, And Thomas picking up about 4 on the play. This is the worst starting field position for the Bears since early in the game, and this is sounds like a broken record. I think we were talking about the same sentiment the last time these teams played at Soldier Field.
Well, we have. You talk about field position and where they're at right now, and this being one of the worst field positions they have had on any drive, yet they've not done with anything with the drives they've had before. And what happens is if you're in a close game, it's fine if you want to be conservative. But when you get in a game and you're down late in games, you don't then have the ability to make the big plays that you have to make.
2nd and 5. Here's Baxter on the crossing pattern. Baxter getting a first down for the Bears, just shy of midfield with Bernardo Harris downfield.
He's done a nice job today. A guy that I don't think a lot of people expected to have the contributions that he's had in the passing game. And you know, regardless of what happens today for the Chicago Bears, I think they found somebody else that provides them with some ability to get the ball down the field at the tight end position.
5 catches, 36 yards for the former New York Jet. Bears first down on their 48. Here's Thomas going wide. Packers penetrating, and a good play. This time Diggs coming in, Niall Diggs and Bernardo Harris as well. They've lost Nate Wayne due to injury, but those linebackers can run.
Yeah, Niall Diggs and Bernardo Harris just getting up there in that play. When you get penetration on the line of scrimmage and you start making running backs, especially Anthony Thomas, running laterally, it's hard for a big guy and a big body to get around the corner.
Well, these Bears face a deficit, but they're used to it. These are their 4th quarter comebacks this year, including the dramatic overtime wins against the 49ers and Browns, with Mike Brown being the hero in back-to-back games. 2nd and 13, and out of the backfield, Damon Shelton with his first play of the game, and bullying his way to the 45 of the Packers, 2 yards short of the sticks. Baoju and Chris Gizzi make the stop on Shelton.
Yeah, Baoju getting over there and making the play on that, and it's, you know, he's got an interesting story himself. He was a corner in college, and then with the injury to Leroy Butler, they moved him to safety. He had never played safety before, and he's really made a nice transition. And he's, you know, what he's had to learn is, like right there, the angles for him making tackles are much different as a safety than what they are when you're playing cornerback.
3rd down and 2. Leon Johnson doesn't get there. No gain on the play. Mike McKenzie coming up to force the play from the secondary, and that will bring up a 4th down and short. And I don't think there's any question what Dick Duran has to do here.
There's no question at all at this point in the game that 6 minutes to play, you're down 10 points. You've got to go for it, and you've got to get the first down here.
Interesting, Stanley Pritchett just checked in for Damon Shelton, so I don't know if this is a play. This is one of his first plays of the football game right here in a very critical situation.
They need 3 yards. A short 3. Play action. Miller going deep, and he overthrows the tight end Fred Baxter by a good 8 yards. Marty Booker was also out there.
To take that shot on 3rd and 2 and come back with something with a little bit higher percentage on 4th and 2.
So it's first down, Packers on their own 45, leading by 10, and Amon Green with the carry trying to go wide, and he is a run down led by Warwick Holt. 2nd and 9. They give it to Green again, using the clock, and a gain of 3. Ryan Robinson following the 5-yard penalty against the Packers. Keep it on the ground to Levens, and Levens is tackled, leaving them 10 yards short of the first down. Brian Urlacher in there, so the clock now under 4 minutes to go. Bears will get it back, needing 10.
Obviously, Brett Favre, almost the exact same numbers, but look at the difference in yards, doubling them almost.
From the 25, Miller going to Des White, has some room to run, and White will get the first down before he is forced out of bounds by Mike McKenzie.
Well, there's that drag route we've been talking about through the first half, and you know, it's a high possession play, a high percentage throw, but I just think that at this point in the game, you have got to do something to get people going vertical, and everything they've completed has been running horizontal on this field.
1st and 10 at the 36. Miller again with time, and this pass up the middle intended for Baxter, and good coverage that time by Todd McPherson. David Terrell also one catch, and that stands out in neon signs right now. 2nd and 10 at the 36. Miller, and this pass in and out of the hands of Fred Baxter. He was open, and it would have been a first down had he held on. Drop passes haunting the Bears the last 2 games. 3rd and 10. Here's Des White. White is going to be stopped 5 yards shy of the first down by Mike McKenzie. Fourth down and 5. This is it for the Bears to stay alive in this game, and this pass is incomplete. Darren Sharper picked it off, went out of bounds, but it's all the same for the Packers. They will take over on downs. 9th game of the year, and moving into the lead in the division. Amon Green trying to protect the ball, picking up a couple of yards. It would truly take a miracle in this game, considering that fact. The handoff to Amon Green, and we check in now with James Brown. The next 3 years, but he's got more airtime this year than he did last year. 3rd and 8 at the 39-yard line, and here is Amon Green tripped up at the 40, but the Bears can't stop the clock. Ted Washington in on the
And a first-round bye.
Jim Miller with 17 seconds to go has Marty Booker, and Marty Booker flips to James Allen, and too little too late, of course, as the time is going to run out. So for the first time in 7 games, the home team wins in this rivalry. The Packers do it. They have won 14 of 16, and cause for celebration at Lambeau as the Packers beat their keen rivals, and Brett Favre runs off the field after the Packers defeat the Chicago Bears 17-7. Troy Aikman and Darrell Johnston and Pam Oliver, Dick Stockton saying so long from Lambeau Field.